She remembered who she was, and the game changed. Lala Delia. Welcome, Sigma ladies, to another unapologetic deep dive into the unspoken truths of the Sigma female. If you've ever felt like your strength was forged in fire, like your independence wasn't a choice but a necessity, then this video is for you. Today, we're unraveling a powerful but overlooked reality: why so many Sigma females emerge from toxic families. Is it coincidence, or is there something deeper at play? We'll explore how childhood adversity molds their resilience, why they refuse to be defined by their past, and how they master the art of emotional detachment like no one else. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand the link between toxic upbringings and the Sigma mindset, but you'll also recognize how these experiences turn them into unstoppable forces. So, if you're here for the raw truth, subscribe to the Sigma Lady and join a community that doesn't just survive, we thrive. Let's begin. Sigma females aren't born with an affinity for solitude and self-reliance. They are made. And often the making begins in a home where chaos, control, or emotional neglect is the norm. Unlike those who crumble under these conditions, Sigma females develop a hardened core, not by choice, but by necessity. Toxic families operate on unpredictability. Love and approval are conditional. Affection is inconsistent. What is acceptable one day may be ridiculed the next. In this environment, Sigma females quickly learn to be hyper-aware, to read between the lines, and to adapt to instability like it's second nature. They develop an advanced ability to assess moods, anticipate conflict, and regulate their own emotions. They learn not to depend on external validation because it's rarely reliable. While others develop people-pleasing tendencies to survive, Sigma females sharpen their emotional intelligence, turning it into an intuitive weapon. In many cases, growing up in a toxic household means being constantly on edge. One moment, a parent or family member might be warm and affectionate, and the next, they could be cold, distant, or even aggressive. This instability teaches Sigma females to pay attention to the smallest details, subtle changes in tone, facial expressions, or body language. They become skilled at predicting emotional shifts before they even happen, a survival instinct that follows them into adulthood. This ability isn't just about protecting themselves, it becomes a crucial skill in their interactions with others. Whether in friendships, relationships, or the workplace, Sigma females can read people with unnerving accuracy. They sense dishonesty before it's spoken, recognize hidden agendas before they are revealed, and understand people's true intentions even when they try to mask them. Because they grow up in environments where emotional expressions can be weaponized, Sigma females also learn to control their own reactions. They understand that showing vulnerability in the wrong situation can be dangerous. Instead of reacting emotionally, they observe, analyze, and choose their responses carefully. This is why they often appear composed and unaffected, even in high-stress situations. Unlike those who seek comfort in external validation, Sigma females learn early on that relying on others for emotional stability is a losing game. They develop an internal compass, a self-trust that becomes their guiding force. While others seek reassurance, they rely on logic, intuition, and their own judgment. This emotional independence is both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it allows Sigma females to navigate life without needing approval or validation from others. On the other hand, it can make it difficult for them to open up and trust people, even those who genuinely care about them. The walls they build for protection can sometimes isolate them from forming deep, meaningful connections. Despite this, Sigma females wouldn't trade their self-sufficiency for anything. They understand that the ability to rely on oneself is a rare and valuable strength. while others may crumble under pressure or seek out support systems to guide them. Sigma females face challenges head-on, trusting their own instincts to lead them in the right direction. The skills they develop in childhood, reading people, controlling emotions and relying on themselves, become their greatest assets in adulthood. Whether they are navigating relationships, building careers, or pursuing personal goals, Sigma females approach life with a level of awareness and intelligence that sets them apart. This heightened awareness also means that Sigma females are rarely caught off guard. They anticipate problems before they arise, recognize toxic behaviors before they escalate, and avoid situations that could potentially harm them. This makes them incredibly difficult to manipulate. While others may fall for sweet words and empty promises, Sigma females see through the facade and walk away before they can be deceived. Some may mistake this for coldness, but in reality it is self-preservation. Sigma females have learned through experience that not everyone has good intentions. They understand that kindness can be faked, that loyalty can be conditional, and that people often reveal their true selves only when they think no one is watching. Sigma females are always watching. This ability to assess people and situations accurately gives them a unique advantage in life. Whether they are negotiating business deals, navigating social dynamics, or deciding who to trust, Sigma females make decisions based on logic and intuition rather than emotions. They do not allow themselves to be swayed by manipulation, guilt, or societal expectations. While some may envy their emotional strength, few truly understand what it took to develop it. Sigma females were not born with an iron will, they were forced to build it. Every experience, every betrayal, every moment of uncertainty shaped them into the resilient, independent women they are today. And though their past may have been difficult, they do not dwell on it. Instead, they use it as a source of power. They take every lesson learned from their toxic upbringing and turn it into wisdom. They do not let their past define them, but they do allow it to refine them. By the time they reach adulthood, Sigma females have developed an unshakable sense of self. They know who they are, what they want, and what they will never tolerate. They refuse to settle for anything less than what they deserve. This is why Sigma females thrive in environments where others struggle. They do not need constant reassurance or approval to move forward. They trust themselves, and that trust is unbreakable. This deep self-awareness and independence makes Sigma females stand out. They do not conform, they do not seek attention, and they do not follow the crowd. Instead, they carve their own path, guided by their own wisdom and experience. And that, Sigma ladies, is why the world both admires and fears them. Most people crave connection, even if it means tolerating toxic relationships. Sigma females don't. They've learned that solitude is often a safer, saner choice than dealing with the emotional turbulence of dysfunctional people. Growing up, they may have spent hours in their rooms, lost in books, music, or their own thoughts, anything to escape the noise of a toxic household. They mastered the art of self-entertainment, of deep thinking, of finding peace within themselves. What others see as isolation, Sigma females see as control over their own energy. For a Sigma female, isolation isn't something that happens to her. It's something she chooses. Unlike many who fear being alone, she finds strength in it. The reason for this is simple. Her upbringing taught her that sometimes the only person she can truly rely on is herself. When a child grows up in an unpredictable household, where love and attention are given and taken away based on mood rather than genuine care, they learn quickly that attachment can be dangerous. They may experience moments of warmth from family members, only for that warmth to suddenly vanish, replaced by coldness, criticism, or neglect. This teaches them that relationships can be unstable, that connection is often fleeting, and that loneliness isn't the worst thing in the world. False security is. This kind of upbringing forces Sigma females to become comfortable in their own company. While other children might have sought approval and validation from their families, Sigma females learned that doing so often led to disappointment or rejection. Instead of relying on others, they turned inward. They developed rich inner worlds, deep thoughts, and strong independence that set them apart from their peers. By the time they reach adulthood, Sigma females have mastered what most people spend a lifetime struggling with: the ability to be alone without feeling lonely. They don't need to constantly surround themselves with people to feel validated. They don't fear quiet moments or empty rooms. Instead, they embrace solitude as a time to recharge, reflect, and plan. This ability to detach from social expectations makes Sigma females powerful. In a world that constantly pressures people to conform, to seek approval, and to prioritize relationships over self-respect, Sigma females stand firm. They don't force themselves into social circles just to fit in. They don't engage in meaningless small talk or fake friendships. They choose their connections carefully, understanding that energy is limited, and wasting it on the wrong people is a mistake. Some may view their ability to withdraw as coldness, but in reality, it's a form of self-preservation. Sigma females understand that not every person deserves access to their energy. They've seen firsthand how toxic relationships can drain and manipulate, so they set strong boundaries. They don't allow guilt or obligation to keep them tied to people who don't respect them. This mindset extends to all areas of life. In the workplace, Sigma females don't engage in office politics or unnecessary drama. They focus on their work, their goals, and their personal growth. In friendships, they prefer a few deep, meaningful connections over a large social circle, filled with shallow relationships. In romantic relationships, they are highly selective, refusing to settle for anything less than a genuine, supportive partnership. One of the biggest misconceptions about Sigma females is that they don't care about relationships. This isn't true. They value connection deeply, but only when it's real. They don't waste time on forced interactions or people who drain their energy. They would rather be alone than in bad company. This is why they walk away easily from situations that don't serve them. While others may struggle with letting go, Sigma females don't. They know that clinging to the wrong relationships out of fear or obligation only leads to resentment. They don't need external validation to feel whole. They are already complete on their own. Their comfort with solitude also makes them incredibly focused. Without the distractions of unnecessary social obligations, they dedicate their time to their passions, careers, and self-improvement. Many Sigma females are highly successful, not because they seek power or recognition, but because they have learned how to channel their energy into meaningful pursuits rather than into people who don't appreciate them. This self-sufficiency is intimidating to many. Most people rely on constant interaction to feel secure. They seek reassurance from others, depend on social validation, and fear being alone. Sigma females don't. They walk through life with a quiet confidence, knowing that they don't need to fit into society's expectations to be fulfilled. The ability to stand alone without fear is what sets Sigma females apart. While others chase approval, they build themselves. While others settle for surface-level interactions, they seek depth. While others fear being alone, they thrive in their solitude. And that is why they are so powerful. In toxic families, emotions are often weaponized. Parents, siblings, or relatives might use guilt, shame, or silent treatment to control others. Most people absorb these tactics and unconsciously repeat them in their adult relationships. Sigma females, however, take a different path. They see manipulation for what it is, a game of control, and they refuse to play. They don't react to guilt-tripping. They don't fall for love bombing followed by sudden coldness. They recognize emotional mind games from a mile away and detach before they can be pulled in. This emotional detachment isn't a lack of feeling. It's a finely tuned defense mechanism. While others get entangled in toxic cycles, Sigma females cut the cord without hesitation. They aren't afraid to walk away from relationships, family, or even entire communities that no longer serve them. From an early age, they witness how emotions are used as leverage. A toxic parent may withdraw affection as a punishment or give it only when the child behaves in a way that pleases them. Inconsistent warmth and unpredictable reactions condition children to either become desperate for approval or to detach entirely. Sigma females choose the latter. They realize that attaching themselves to people who view love as a form of control will only lead to pain, so they train themselves to be independent in every way. This detachment follows them into adulthood. In friendships, they are not easily swayed by flattery or false kindness. They observe first, allowing people to reveal their true nature before forming deep bonds. In the workplace, they don't engage in emotional manipulation tactics like office gossip or fake alliances. They keep their distance from unnecessary drama, maintaining a sense of professionalism that others struggle to match. In romantic relationships, their detachment is often misunderstood. Many mistake it for coldness, but in reality, it is a form of self-respect. Sigma females do not chase, beg, or plead. They do not tolerate mixed signals, mind games, or half-hearted efforts. If someone does not show consistency, they walk away without looking back. Their ability to control their emotions does not mean they do not feel deeply. It means they are selective about who gets access to their inner world. While others may rush into relationships, desperate for connection, Sigma females take their time. They know that love should be based on mutual respect, not desperation. This detachment also extends to how they view success and failure. Many people take setbacks personally, allowing disappointment to shake their confidence. Sigma females don't. They understand that life is a series of wins and losses, and they do not tie their self-worth to external outcomes. If something doesn't work out, they move forward, unaffected by what others think. This level of emotional control makes them incredibly powerful. They do not react impulsively. They do not let criticism break them. They do not need constant reassurance. They are their own anchors, their own sources of validation, and their own protectors. Many Sigma females grew up in environments where asking for help was either discouraged, ignored, or met with conditional support. This forced them to become fiercely independent at a young age. They learned how to solve problems on their own, how to fix things without waiting for assistance, and how to make decisions without seeking permission. This self-sufficiency, while a survival tactic in childhood, becomes their defining strength in adulthood. They don't wait for someone to rescue them. They don't expect life to be fair. Instead, they focus on skills, knowledge, and self-improvement. While others seek security in relationships or external stability, Sigma females create their own foundation. This independence starts early. As children, they may have had to take care of themselves more than most. Whether it was managing responsibilities at a young age, looking after younger siblings, or emotionally supporting themselves when no one else did, they developed a deep resilience. They learned that if they wanted something done, they had to do it themselves. This mentality stays with them into adulthood. They are the women who do not wait for opportunities. They create them. They do not rely on others to validate their choices. They trust their own judgment. They do not waste time making excuses or blaming circumstances. They take action. Because of this, Sigma females are natural leaders. They don't need permission to take charge of their lives. They aren't afraid to step into positions of power because they've spent their entire lives navigating challenges on their own. This is why they are so intimidating to others. Many people depend on external sources for confidence, direction, and approval. Sigma females don't. They have built their own sense of self, brick by brick, through experience, hardship, and sheer determination. This ability to handle life alone is both a strength and a challenge. On one hand, it makes them highly capable, allowing them to accomplish things that others wouldn't even attempt. On the other hand, it can make it difficult for them to accept help, even when it is offered with good intentions. They have been conditioned to believe that relying on others is dangerous because in their past, it often was. This can make relationships complex, as they struggle to balance their independence with vulnerability. However, those who truly understand Sigma females know that their independence is not a wall. It is a carefully built foundation. They are open to connection, but only when it is genuine. They are willing to let others in, but only if they prove they are trustworthy. And when they do choose to let someone into their lives, that connection is deep, unshakable, and built on mutual respect. Many people struggle with leaving toxic situations because of fear. Fear of loneliness, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. Sigma females, they master the art of detachment. When they recognize a toxic pattern, they don't justify it. They don't make excuses for people. They don't engage in endless cycles of hoping they'll change. They leave. And when they leave, they don't return. This is what makes Sigma females so different. They have no problem cutting ties, not out of coldness but out of self-respect. They know that staying in a toxic environment, whether it's family, a relationship, or even a workplace, is a slow poison, and they refuse to drink it. This fearlessness when it comes to walking away is something many envy. Most people hold on too long, making excuses for bad behavior, tolerating mistreatment, and convincing themselves that things will improve. Sigma females don't. They see reality for what it is, and they act accordingly. They understand that growth sometimes requires painful decisions. They know that their peace is more valuable than any attachment. They do not cling to people, places, or situations that drain them. They move forward with a clear mind, knowing that their future is too valuable to be weighed down by toxic connections. This ability to walk away makes them powerful, untouchable, and unbreakable. Unlike those who let their past define them, Sigma females transmute pain into purpose. Every scar, every wound, every battle becomes fuel for their transformation, making them stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than before. They don't see their struggles as curses. They see them as training. They understand that every hardship has sharpened their instincts, every betrayal has refined their ability to trust wisely, and every setback has forced them to become more resilient. This mindset turns them into forces of nature, women who cannot be broken by circumstances because they have already survived worse. From a young age, they learn the art of emotional alchemy, taking pain, rejection, and adversity, and turning it into something powerful. While others allow their hardships to turn them bitter or resentful, Sigma females use their experiences as stepping stones toward growth and success. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It takes years of self-reflection, unlearning toxic beliefs, and making conscious choices to break free from cycles that no longer serve them. Many Sigma females spend time in deep introspection, questioning the narratives they were raised with and rewriting their own stories. They refuse to let the past hold them back. Instead of dwelling on what they have lost, they focus on what they can build. They take the lessons learned from their past and apply them with precision, ensuring they never repeat the mistakes or patterns that once trapped them. This ability to rise from adversity makes them incredibly inspiring. While others look at pain as something to be avoided, Sigma females see it as a teacher. They understand that growth often comes from discomfort, and they willingly step into challenges, knowing that they will emerge stronger on the other side. Their resilience also makes them highly adaptable. Life's unpredictability doesn't shake them because they have already faced instability and survived. They are not afraid of change. They embrace it. They do not fear setbacks. They see them as temporary. Because of this, Sigma females often achieve greatness in whatever they pursue. Whether it's in their careers, personal lives, or creative endeavors, they pour their energy into building something meaningful. They are not content with mediocrity. They refuse to settle for a life dictated by external forces. They carve their own path on their own terms. Many people admire their strength, but fail to understand the process it took to develop it. Sigma females didn't wake up one day with unshakable confidence and wisdom. It was earned through trials, failures, and self-discovery. They have walked through fire, and instead of being consumed by it, they became forged by it. This is why they are both respected and feared. People admire their ability to rise above challenges, but they also recognize that Sigma females are not easily controlled. They do not fall for manipulation, they do not seek approval, and they do not tolerate mediocrity. Sigma females have a quiet but undeniable power. They do not need to be loud to make an impact. Their presence alone commands respect. They move through life with a level of self-awareness and confidence that cannot be faked. This is what makes them stand out. In a world where so many seek validation, Sigma females find it within themselves. In a world where many fear solitude, they embrace it. In a world where most follow, they lead. Sigma ladies, if there's one truth you should carry with you, it's this. You were never meant to fit into a dysfunctional mold. You were meant to break it. The strength you carry wasn't given to you. It was built through fire. Every challenge, every betrayal, every moment of isolation turned you into the unshakable force you are today. And that is why you stand apart. If you resonated with this, drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt like your strength was forged by your past? Let's talk about it. And remember, Sigma females don't just survive, they transcend. So stay sharp, stay unbreakable, and until next time, keep rewriting the rules. Subscribe to the Sigma Lady and join a community that refuses to conform. See you in the next one.